Okay, so this is actually my favorite part of Coyoacán. You can see like here, it's much more quiet. We're like 2 or 3 blocks away from the main square of the neighborhood, and apartments here are anywhere between $600 and $1,000 a month for a one-bedroom apartment. And yeah, usually what you require to rent an apartment here is to have it's to pay 1 month of rent, pay one deposit, which is of the same amount as the rent, and then having a person, an aval, which is a person that basically cosigns the lease, and whose role is to pay rent in case you default. And yeah, those are the typical requirements for any apartment here in Mexico City. And well, right now, well, that's the building I was talking about. That's the tallest building in Mexico City and in all of Mexico, I think. And it's an apartment building and office building. But this is what's really beautiful about Coyoacán, not those buildings. But yeah, I mean, that building over there is like a complex with apartments, offices, and a mall. And currently, I'm on my way to the Viveros, but I just wanted to show you this quieter or more quiet part of Coyoacán. As you can see, there aren't as many cars here, there aren't as many people, and I think that's what gives a neighborhood quality of life. These plants here are actually traditional from Oaxaca, which is funny that they have them here, and I think they're beautiful. And look, this property right here is for sale. To be honest, I don't know how much a property is around this area, but I'm guessing it also must be around $600,000 to $1 million probably. Mexico City is, I mean, to buy something in Mexico City is not as affordable anymore, and there's a sign about an apartment for rent in this area. So if you want to find a place to rent in this area, these are the areas where you want to be looking, because of course in the main core it's very hectic and it's very hard to find something. And also personally, I prefer this part because it's not as loud. You can see the building I was talking about again there. And yeah, this is what a typical street looks like. This is a pothole. That's such a shame. A lot of the streets in Mexico have potholes, so you have to be careful if you drive. But yeah, this part of the neighborhood, I think it's the most charming. And yeah, this part of Coyoacán is actually it's actually on the way to the Viveros, so it's very convenient because if you want to go for a run or something, you can simply walk there and then we back home very quickly. And yeah, this part is close to the Viveros, and it's much more clean and generally much more quiet. So, and it's still like just 4 blocks away from the main core of the neighborhood, where all the hustle and bustle is. Yeah, you can see it's a very charming neighborhood. And this is the outside of the park. I made it to the park. That's the entrance right there. So there's doors in the park, so there are operation hours. Like you cannot just go whatever time of the day you please. And there are also certain rules that you have to follow. Like you're not allowed to feed the squirrels and stuff like that. You're not allowed to get in the park with professional cameras and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the way it works. I'm just gonna cross the street now, because if I don't, then they will never let me go. So yeah, you're also not allowed to get in the park with bicycles, but as you can see, there's lots of people running, and yeah, that's super nice. So this is a park. It's just a big park where people come run, and if you live by the area, then that's amazing, because you can just come to the park and then relax or work out. But the part that I actually really wanted to show you, the park looks all the same, so that's why I am not going to get inside a lot more, because it all looks the same. But the part that I actually wanted to show you is the Viveros, so where they sell all of these plants. And yeah, there's just a lot of people right now, which, yeah, I don't love, but that's just the way it is. There's another property there that's for sale. I don't know why I have these weird interests. It's just, a lot of you might find it interesting. If you want to move here and you want to buy a house, then you can simply call the number and yeah, I mean, ask. A lot of times people will speak English, and if not, just leave a comment and I'm happy to help. But yeah, so we finally made it to the Viveros. I think, no, it's a little bit farther. We're almost there. And as you can see, the houses here are much more well maintained than over there. It's just there's a lot less people than over there, so I'm guessing it's much easier to keep things in order. Okay, so we made it to the place where they sell the plants. There's a plug there, and then a sculpture, and you can actually get in here with your car, which I didn't know until now. There's cempasúchil flowers, which are like typical of Day of the Dead. And then, well, now I'm gonna walk through the aisles of the greenhouse so you can see what it's like. They sell food there. You can get a whole meal for less than $4. And then there's yeah, it's just a market with lots of different flowers. And pumpkins there for Halloween, because, and then there's cempasúchil there. Yeah, Day of the Dead is actually a very funny thing in Mexico, because it's like a hybrid between Day of the Dead and Halloween. It's just, bougainvilleas. And yeah, that's what I was thinking about earlier, how like Americanized Mexico is. Because for instance, these big malls, like the one I was, like the big building I was showing you earlier, they don't have those malls in Europe. Like that's an American thing. And Mexico is actually kind of a hybrid between Europe and America, and also the native traditions. Yeah, there's all sorts of plants. Actually, I'm looking for albahaca, which is which is a plant that people used to cook. And then there's this space here that has all sorts of native plants. So like cactus and magueyes, agaves, which are Mexican. Cactus. Yeah. So the good thing about Coyoacán is that there's lots of things to do. So like you can just come for a walk on the weekends here, or you can also go to the Cineteca Nacional, which is like, yeah, it's like where it's like a place, a cultural place where people go watch movies. So it's not like a movie theater, because the movies that are depicted there are more like artistic movies, and it's also quite affordable because it's made like that on purpose, that people can afford going there. And well, there's lots of different museums. There's the House of Frida, there is a museum of the popular cultures, there's also the house of Leon Trotsky, who was a Soviet leader who got killed, who got murdered in Mexico, and they turned his house into a museum. And yeah, and there's also the mall. So there's lots of different things to do here. Anyways, this is the end of our stroll in Coyoacán. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, leave a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, and I will see you soon on our next adventure. I will soon explain all the different ways in which you can legally move to Mexico as a digital nomad, so stay tuned. Bye. Okay, so just a little more, because I want to show you this aisle in the market, how it's decorated and lots of flags. And yeah, I mean, I like these kind of places. They are refreshing, and you can find all kinds of plants here. So you can find olives, like olive trees, and all sorts of different plants, like for cooking, parsley, peppers, tomatoes, and also basil. That's the name of the plant I was trying to remember, basil. And there are some huge basil plants here, which you can use for pizza or just whatever you want. And yeah, I mean, it's really small. The only other place like this in the city is in Xochimilco, but it's kind of far from here. So like where the trucking areas are, these little boats. Yeah, and that's the only other place like this in the city. It's much more far. It's way down south, and this is sort of in the middle of the city. Still south, but not so much as Xochimilco, for instance. And yeah, I just wanted to show you that last part over there. I just thought it was very beautiful. But I hope... Oh, look, there's a kid in there. Hey! No, I just hope that you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon.